Hi everyone, I'm Gianni and this is my project on the environment. What was the problem you wanted to solve or the need you were trying to address? The problem I was trying to solve was the impact that suburban communities had on the environment. This includes pesticide use on their lawns, throwing away everything instead of composting, and just littering, not picking up trash. Though the environment constitutes a very large area. So me personally, I can't solve that, but I was trying to make a meaningful impact. So for context, humans have been affecting the environment for many thousands of years, though their most significant impacts arguably came when the Industrial Revolution occurred. The newfound fossil fuels were efficient and they were in abundance, and because of their abundance, they were overused, and there weren't many attempts or even methods at reducing their emissions because at the time they didn't believe in climate change or global warming. Um, this led to a mass release of greenhouse gases, which, contrary to belief at the time, led to global warming and climate change. Other side effects of global warming: warming of the oceans, melting of ice caps, extreme weather patterns, extinctions, etc. Along with this, consumerism has led to an overconsumption of products that we tend to throw away, which creates the massive amounts of waste that builds up in the landfills and ends up in our streets, parks, and waterways. The trash left in the environment also creates a plethora of concerns like pollution of our waterways, again, and oceans, as well as negatively affecting ecosystems around us. These, along with other things like non sustainable farming practices, which use too much pesticides, pollute our waterways, again, along with the overuse of farmland, which leaves it dry and barren, fracking, which is used to take the oil out of the ground, pollutes our underground waterways. And environmental destruction in general has turned our planet into a giant dump that is getting worse by the day. Without any effort to fix these problems, the planet will eventually become a wasteland and will not be habitable. Then we'll have to trust Elon to take us to Mars, which I personally don't want to go. So my background is not official, but I've taken an environmental science course in 11th grade, AP Environmental Science. Um, I got a 4 in it, which hopefully counts for something. But in that class is where what sparked my interest in environmental science. It's also where I get all of my ideas of how we should treat our environment. So for my project, I chose to promote preservation of the environment through helping with a composting seminar and participating in community cleanup. The composting seminar was hosted by the Living Coast here in Chula Vista, where I live. Basically, you just learn how to compost. Steps for composting are to gather carbon rich and nitrogen rich materials, and then you put them in a container and you stack them layer by layer on top of each other until either you fill the container or you're satisfied. Then you make it a little moist with a little bit of water and you cover it and let it decompose and once it decomposes, you have compost and you can use it gardening in your lawn, or you can give it to someone else that will actually use the compost. The other event was the cleanup in La Mesa, which was hosted by We Live a Clean San Diego. Basically, the idea of that cleanup was to pick up litter before it rains in order for it to not end up in our waterways. Um, Although these are only a drop in the bucket compared to what I could have done or what we could do as a community, it is still a little bit of progress. Um, Through these, I had hoped to demonstrate at least that it is easy to have a sustainable practices and a clean environment. and I hope that it would inspire others to care about where they live. The more people that participate in sustainable practices, the more of an impact it will have. Right now, if it's only a little bit of people, then what we do won't really matter. But if more people do it, then it'll become bigger. So the composting seminar was actually hosted by my environmental science teacher. She's really into environmental preservation, so I was able to help her out with that. I interacted in the classes, in both the classes and the cleanup. A lot of the people there were like-minded about the environment, how they wanted to preserve the environment. Um, Reaction and takeaway. The most significant reaction I got to my project was my environmental science teacher, who was pretty ecstatic that one of her previous students was interested in helping her with her longtime passion. Um, she gave entirely positive feedback because my project was essentially what she had been doing uh, almost her entire life. She teaches the class in order to get people to want to care about the environment. One takeaway that I got from this project was that there were a lot of people without the motivation and or time to think that caring about the environment is necessary for them because they think that someone else will fix it and it'll eventually go away or that it's not important. Thank you for watching.